Greetings, TVR2A. This is Professor Dunbar. This is going to be your first walkthrough video showing the download and install of the free version of Pro Tools software. Avid will call this software Pro Tools Intro. That's Pro Tools Intro, I-N-T-R-O. That's the actual name of the software you'll be downloading. This is being done on a PC computer. This is going to require you to have an internet connection, a browser, and some type of laptop or desktop. I'll also be creating two new accounts. One will be a new Avid account if you don't have one yet. And the second will be an iLok, I-L-O-K account put together from a company called Pace. And that's how you'll be retrieving your license. Pro Tools Intro is free, so there is no cost to use it or download it, but you do have to create both of those accounts in order to get the software. That will then install Pro Tools. Avid will use an installer, which they call Avid Link. That will be automatically downloaded when you download the software. And then I'll go ahead and launch it, Pro Tools at the end, to make sure that it has worked. This is a Intel Core i5. It's an older machine. It's running Windows 10. And that is still supported using Pro Tools Intro, the latest version. Also, be advised, I am typically a Mac user. And so although I'm doing this on a PC computer, I may not be doing it as efficiently as possible. So you'll see me moving around with the mouse, etc. All right, but this is starting from the very beginning. So the first step we need to do is go ahead and go to your browser and choose the address avid.com. So that's AVID. So here I am, AVID. Then you can hit your enter key. This will take you to Avid website. On the Avid website, before we do any sort of downloading and installing, you will need to create your Avid ID. And again, this is free, and you'll be using an email address. Avid is a big company. You'll notice they own Media Composer, which is the video editing software that is used for most TV and film projects. They also own Sibelius and Euphonics, along with a few other companies. This is their main homepage. What we're going to go ahead and do is click here towards the top where it says Login. And then here on this page, we'll go ahead and choose I'm new, create a new account. Once you do that, you'll go ahead and see all of this information. You can ignore all of this. This is my information. I already have an Avid account, so I won't be doing this step. But you will want to go ahead and do all of this to create your Avid account. You'll see it says create Avid account right here. I will encourage you for the email address, since this will become your username, is you'll want to use an email address that is not your pasadena.go. Instead, it should be some other sort of personal email so that you'll have access to it after you leave the college. Other than that, fill out the information and go ahead and click Create Avid Account. All right, I'll pause the video. You can go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. All right, so you've now created your Avid account, and you're ready to log in. All right, let me go backwards into my... All right, so I'm back at the Avid homepage. And what I'll do is I now need to go locate the Pro Tools Intro install. So I'll click on Audio and Music. We'll go ahead and go down here where it says Music Creation and Audio Music Notation Production, and we'll click Pro Tools. Once I click Pro Tools here, I'll go ahead and scroll down. You'll notice there are options to purchase. You're not purchasing it unless you felt like you wanted to. Should you decide that you wanted to purchase it, you can choose this drop-down menu to students and teachers, and it will give you the student discount price. Pro Tools Studio for Education is $99 a year. You can see how many tracks you get. Pro Tools Ultimate would be $300 a year, and that's about half price, by the way. What we have on campus is Studio version, and that's fine. What you'll be getting is a Pro Tools Intro, which is a limited version of Pro Tools. It has only 8 tracks and some other limitations. However, that is plenty of tracks for all of the labs that we'll be working on. So you're not going to choose this where it says choose a version. Instead, we'll keep scrolling downward where it says download now. Now you can also take a moment to scroll down to the bottom, and you will see there is a section for system requirements. So you could click on here just to double check that your computer and your operating system is going to be supported. Again, I'm using a laptop which I think is about 6 years old, and it's running Windows 10. Windows 10 is supported. I am not sure Windows 9 is. So go ahead and just double check that you have a computer that isn't going to be too old for the requirements. I'm going to scroll back up to where we saw that Pro Tools Intro and go ahead and download it. All right, Pro Tools Intro, download now. Here it says getting started with your email. So this is when you'll go ahead and put in your email that you used for the Avid account. Now, I've already done all of this, so it's not going to do much good for me to do this part for you because I've already downloaded this. But you can go ahead and click your email, and you can get Pro Tools Intro simply by clicking on this bottom. There is a blue button here towards the bottom. It says the word continue. It's just off the screen here. If I can pull this down. All right, right here, and you can click continue. Here it's going to ask you to sign in, put in your password that you used before. And again, down here at the lower part of the screen, if I can get it to scroll, it does say the word continue. This also does give you the option to add that new Avid account if you had skipped it from the beginning, but since you all did that already, you can go ahead and click continue. All right, and now it puts us into our actual Avid account, and the Avid account is where all of your downloads will be, for example. So here you do see you have the Avid link. This is My Products, Avid link, Native Instruments, Pro Tools Intro. That's the one I'm looking for right here. Pro Tools Intro. And here you should be able to click download, and that will begin that download process. So again, I've already done all of this, so we can pause the video. You can download it. You can get it installed. It's going to ask you to also do the Avid link. In addition to that Avid link, it's also going to have you create an iLok account. Okay, so the iLok account, let's see if I can get to it. Here it says it's going to want to open Avid link because I have Avid link already. Here towards the bottom, now this is actually opened Avid link for us. So you can see here's Pro Tools. This is the one here, and I can actually open it from here as well. Okay, again, that's because I've already installed it. So it's already set up. Now, at some point, it's going to ask you on a page about, do you have an iLok account? Do you want to create one? And it'll do that through Avid. So you could go ahead and choose yes on that one. And when you go to the iLok site, you'll be creating another user ID. And that is where Avid is going to store the license for your software. Okay, and again, that's iLok. It should be relatively self-explanatory. There are a couple of videos that I've also posted from Avid that will show you that process. But that will get you all the way to installing the software and getting it ready to run. So again, what you're looking at here is the Avid link. And you'll see software in here, and over here it will say install. You don't need to worry about anything that says Native Instruments or any other software. The only thing we need working is Pro Tools. Okay, so that's it. Here it says I can just open it. All right, but I'm not going to open it from here. I want to open it from my actual applications. All right, I can show you just in case here, if I go ahead and close Avid Link, I could show you what the iLok looks like. So let's go ahead and see if I can get down to that part. Here's another video here on their website that you could click and watch that as well. So I'm going to go up into my browser and type ilok.com. And this brings up the iLok website. Now, you don't need to purchase these physical iLoks, but you do need to actually create the account. And it says right here, create free account. You'll be putting a user ID. This is going to be something you need to remember. Again, you have to have this in order to have Pro Tools. Put in your name information, put in the email address, password, and I think there's even some security questions down here if you need it. And then go ahead and click I'm not a robot and create the account. Okay, once it's created, Avid will now use it in order to authorize your license and your software. So you do still need to be connected to the internet. All right, so that's ilok.com. You'll be creating your free account with that one as well. Okay, so let's say that we have installed all of the software. We have the Avid Link installed. We've got the iLok user installed. Everything's ready to go. And now I'm ready to go ahead and launch Pro Tools for the first time. So let's go ahead and close out of these links. So we can close this browser. And now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go to my Pro Tools icon, which is right here on my desktop. If you don't see that show up on your desktop, you can go into your applications and you can go locate it that way. But I'm just going to click on Pro Tools right here. Pro Tools icon is a little purpley circle with the sound wave. When it begins to launch for the first time, it will take several minutes. This is Pro Tools Intro. This is the most current version, but since it's the first time you're launching it, it will take a little extra time. It said it was version 2025.6, most current. All right, so this will get you to that very first page. This is the new session page, or the kind of like their startup wizard for projects. You'll get this every time you launch Pro Tools. And this is where you will be creating the name of your new Pro Tools session. You'll be setting the parameters for the sample rate, bit depth, I/O settings, audio file format, and then telling it where it's going to be saved. Okay, so if you got this far, then consider yourself ready to go for the rest of the labs. This is our first official lab where you just had to download and install, but you did want to make sure that you could launch Pro Tools and you didn't get any weird errors. Usually on that very first launch, there will be a window that pops up and it starts asking you about a playback engine, and it gives you some drop-down options. And in general, you'll be using your input of your microphone, and then it says the output, and the output will be set to your headphones. And so you may need to drop that those menus down so you can make those appropriate selections. If you're not getting audio, we'll talk about this much later, but usually it's always related to that playback engine. Also, before we quit, I want to just pull your attention to this column here on the left-hand side. It does say new, it says open, or it says cloud projects. And you never want to click on that cloud projects. And also at the bottom left-hand corner, notice it says the word sign in. You never want to do that either. So both of those have to do with doing collaborative sessions up in the cloud, which is beyond the scope of this class. So never sign in to actual Pro Tools. So you should never need to do this, and never click on Cloud Projects. You can feel free to click on Learn. It does have little tutorials that you could look at. But in general, all we'll be doing is clicking on New or Open, and we're always using this tab at the top that says the word Session. So we never use Sketch either. So it's Session, it's naming stuff, it's telling it where it's going to be saved, it's all the parameters. And then you would click Create, and then you would be in a Pro Tools session. So again, reminder, do not click on Sign In. I know it's very tempting because you think you need to sign in again. You do not. And don't click on Cloud Projects. Okay, that's as far as we get for this one. If there's any issues, I would review the other videos that I've posted. You can also go to YouTube and you can do searching if you're having issues with the installation or download process. Again, there's multiple steps. There's creating the Avid account. There's creating the iLok account. And then there's downloading the Avid link, downloading the Pro Tools intro. And then also iLok has a little manager that has to be downloaded as well. So there's multiple steps in order to get all that stuff to work. But if you got this far and you're at the new session window, then consider yourself successful and you have been able to finish this lab. Okay, good luck and enjoy.